I think, having traveled the whole of Africa, Zambia has the best people in the continent. Yeah. What is not best in Zambia?
Nothing.
I think it's in order for us to take this opportunity as Zambians and friends of Zambia to show appreciation to the Zambian embassy for allowing us to have this venue. By the way, it's free, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in inviting to the microphone the Deputy High Commissioner for the Republic of Zambia in the United Kingdom and Ireland. She's representing the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I invite to the microphone Mrs. Lubo Chiwenkumalo.
Thank you. You left out one thing. We also represent the Vatican. Yes. So it's just not Northern Ireland, London, UK, and it's also the Vatican. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
I see a lot of familiar faces. Welcome once again to Zambia House. And friends of Zambia, you are very welcome. This is your second home. Yes. My job here is very simple and very short. I'd just like to welcome all of you this evening to Zambia House, and thank you very much to the Zambian Network for putting up this beautiful event, and thank you all of you for coming to support them. Please continue with the good work and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lua Chiwe.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Zambian Network for inviting me. I think there is so much to say. I'm very passionate about Zambia. A number of you may have already known me, but briefly to introduce myself. I went to Zambia as a second generation business graduate with a job. I was headhunted by the owner and chairman of Finance Bank Zambia Limited, way back many years back. My name was recommended by him, and he wanted his bank, which was then fairly new, to expand to South Africa, Zimbabwe, and open up a number of branches. So somebody recommended that please go and see one gentleman in London. So that's how I came about Zambia. But I'm second generation because my elder brother, who was then a UK chartered accountant, was also similarly headhunted by late President and the founder, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's government. And he was the financial controller of then Indico. So that was quite a significant post. So I am the second generation, and I call it a second home because I took my family back in 1992 when I joined the finance bank. At that time, Zambia was much different than what it was today. And I must say, till today, I'm very passionate about Zambia. Though I'm in London, but I promote and I advise a number of companies and also individuals who have flourished. The people who work with me in the bank, some of them are managing directors, and it gives me great happiness. Talking about, say, network, I have known Sean, one of the organizers, who very kindly invited me. And despite having commitments, which we all do, I said, no, Zambia comes first. We will go and make my presence. Well, in that connection, I must say I was the last speaker, but I've been promoted to be right now. So that's a joy too. So I thank the promoters and the organizers like Eunice, Lindsay, Joe, and Sean. You've done a commendable job, commendable. And I think networking is very important. I still network. If you see me LinkedIn, you will see possibly I have a very chosen members, about 1,000 people, and I select them because time is so important. I learn from them, and they also take my experience. And a number of them are Zambians, because as I said, I love Zambia, and I've enriched myself in the many years that I spent in Zambia. I've enriched myself, my family, so we owe to Zambia. So I want to give back. So network is very important. The people who are here, you made effort to come. Please build up this network. Like I came in today, in a short time, I learned how one of the Zambians here, and I see an entrepreneurship in him, he was telling me, working here, but side by side on his extra time, he's building up business in Zambia. And the business he's building up is wonderful. A concept which we all see here is a breakdown recovery service. It's a great service. So I've learned from him how he's doing it over there, and I can see a great possibility for his success in that country. Similarly, there are many, if you talk of, like many of you might be thinking, what can we do? Well, let me tell you in short, the sky's the limit. Zambia offers to Zambian, especially under this leadership, the greatest opportunity ever. It's a country which you must know is untapped, and it's highly untapped, whether it's the manpower or the natural resources, or simply the opportunity. Of late, I can tell you one of mine, I don't say customers because I don't charge anything, I just share my experience with people who have successfully built up a new bakery and cake making facility in Lusaka. So before I came, I checked up yesterday. He said he was smiling. So that's a great entrepreneurship. I had employed one or two people who does part-time work for me in Zambia. So one of them, I gave him just a little donation, and he gathered from his brother who's working in Australia, someone. And he told me now he has about 500 goats. So that's not a small achievement. You know, it's a happiness. Small is beautiful. Everything small, then it grows big. So we must realize that while we want to do business, we capture an opportunity, and we must have the patience to see it grow. And also one most important thing, if you do business, is to fulfill your commitment. I have been in banking in Zambia. As I mentioned, I joined Finance Bank, then I was CEO of African Commercial Bank. Then I was hired by one of the greatest entrepreneur businessmen of that country. Some of you may know. His name is Musa Stanley Siame. And some of you and your parents will know he was one of the very big employers in that country in the 80s, in the 90s, and up to 2000, year 2000 when I left him. He's still around, and we're still friends. So, Zambian entrepreneurship, the people that you have, and most of the ladies I've seen are entrepreneurs in Zambia, you can enrich yourself. Zambia is not tapped fully. But the environment, especially under this president, is excellent. And also there is a great support from the international community. You have probably seen a number of the countries who have bilateral arrangements, including India, have placed funds, which is Import-Export Credit Fund. So if any of you need any advice on the finance, on banking, on business, please feel free to contact me. I'll be very pleased to share my experience and guide you. But let me tell you modestly, the people that who know me and who are successful, far too big to give you a name and list right now, they've all been successful. And they're constantly speaking to me. But one thing I teach them, that have the discipline to make money and return it. And I will put you to the right people who will lend you money. So money is plenty. Whether it's Zambia or outside, even in London, money is floating. And we as bankers don't know who to give it to. But we want to give it to people who will give it back. and will make money for themselves. If you don't have the right intention, don't waste your time. It's not, business is not for you, go for a job. But I tell you, Zambians are entrepreneurs. Zambian women, they are great entrepreneurs. So now you may ask, what kind of business? Yes, the whole range is open across the economy. You find yourself. And today, it is so simple that I don't have to tell you anything. Just Google. I've seen the trade development of the High Commission has laid down every damn thing that I would speak to you. It's so beautifully, so clearly, and so simple that you can read and understand and implement. So, if you ask me any questions, I will invite you. I would also like you to know how, it's important to know how other people have failed. See, for example, what's happening in Kenya, how the Kenyans have made it a hub. Zambia can be not just a hub, it can be the food tank of Sahara. So rich is the soil, so rich is the climate, and so good is your leadership, and more importantly, the people. I think, having traveled the whole of Africa, Zambia has the best people in the continent. Yeah. What is not best in Zambia?
Nothing.
I'm giving 2 minutes. I can speak to you 2 hours. Okay, thank you, but I will be very quick. Now, let me tell you another thing, which is very inspiring. When I first went to Zambia, I had a blooming job in Kenya. And modestly speaking, it was given to me by the then president, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta's son, who was president lately. What's his name? Kenyatta. Or was a young slim man. He needed MBA, came from America. Somebody gave his name. He called me to Kenya. He owned, I didn't know it. He owned the commercial bank of Kenya. He gave me a job. That you replace my MD. You first come in as a deputy for 6 months, then take up. At the same time, there was a civil commotion, so my wife felt very uncomfortable with small children. And at the same time, I was called into Zambia. As I said, Dr. Matani had already interviewed in London. When I went to Zambia, the first thing which I will never forget, I entered the airport, which is your old airport. I put my British passport, and the Zambian immigration officer looked at me and I said, "Sir, what brings you here asking for this?" I said, "I've come to see opportunities in Zambia." And he said, "Sir, you are welcome. But let me tell you, Zambia is wide open. You are most welcome. There is room for everybody." I was very, very touched. That what generous spirit. Can you see that? Then I said, I must find a job here. But of course, I took up a job there. So let me tell you, as I said, Zambians are the best people in the continent. Truly, it's from the heart. And after having seen the continent, and not just the best people, you have also a Zambia, which has the 7th wonder of the world. The Victoria Falls. You are the jewel and emerald of Africa. So, what more to say about Zambia? Zambia people, whether British, European, today Chinese, all over the world, people are looking at Zambia to invest. So there is a very clear opportunity for partnership. And partnership is important because we in Zambia need technical service. We need some expertise. We need cash to come in. So that's important. I will cut short.
Hi everyone. Hi. Nice to meet you all. Slight mistake, I don't sing, my sister does. If you ask me to sing, you'll probably all run away. So that's the first thing I need to get out of that. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you for inviting me down today. So I was asked to talk about my career journey. So I'm one of those, I don't know if you would say silly, but I went to uni and got a business and accounting degree, but decided not to use it. I think somewhere in uni I became obsessed with P. Diddy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a mogul just like him. So I said to my uni, like, I did a sandwich course. I said to my uni, like, oh, I want to go and work with people like P. Diddy. And they were saying, I mean, we can help you get to Canary Wharf, but we don't know about what all this other stuff is. So I went about and just found my own, found my own placement. And that was for a year. And it was unpaid work. And it was actually, why I love coming here is it was literally round the corner and it was at Warner Music on High Street, Kensington. So I spent a year coming in and out of this area, and it has so many great memories for me. And the first lesson I kind of learned when I entered the music industry, my role was artist relations. So that was looking after like the artists when they came from America to the UK, taking them around for their different promo trips. And my first lesson was everything that glitters isn't gold, because we switch on the TV and we watch these guys. It looks like they've got money, they've got chains. It's all just, it's not real life. So that's the first thing I had to learn, is to really separate the things that we see on TV to what is happening in real life. A lot of people don't understand that the ones that you see that have all the money, have all the cash, it's probably, I would say it's about 2% of people that really get to that stage. Before then, we have what we call like a struggling artist. Like, art is a commodity to some people, but it's not a strong enough commodity to make sure that everyone can make their bread and butter. So that was the first lesson I learned. The second lesson I learned whilst in this placement was about classism. I went in there very innocent, thinking that we're all the same. And I'll never forget, like, there were these twins that worked there, and we became friendly. And then they said to me one year, they said like, "Oh, what are you doing for Christmas?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going home for Christmas." And they said, "Where's home?" And I was like, "Stratton Vale." And they said, "Oh, so you spend and celebrate Christmas in the ghetto?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, don't we all?" And they were like, "No, we go to the country. We have people come and cook for us." I was like, "Okay, wow." That was the first thing. We are not the same. And what people don't realize is that working in media for a lot of people comes down to privilege. And that's because when you're working, the entry point, because so many people want to do it, is that you're not going to get paid, or you're going to get paid very little. I just hope, like, for me, that was like 12 years ago. So I hope like right now that it doesn't exist. But that's why you see a lot of people that don't necessarily look like me and you working in those industries, is because the first thing is that, how can you afford to work for free? Luckily for me, my mum lives in London. She's got a place in London. I could stay in London. So I was happy living on expenses, and actually, I was the slimmest then, so it wasn't a bad thing. So that was the first thing that I learned. And even such things like, they would take you to these fancy dinners, and I didn't know like the knife and fork placement. And bless my boss at the time, like, he would recognize it straight away, and he would say the one inside and then the one outside. So he would navigate it for me. And it was a very full-on work. So we'll get in about 9, and the work goes into the night. You have to go out, you have to be social. So I'd be getting home about midnight most nights for a year. And one day my boss said to me, he was like, "So what did you do on your Saturday?" And I was like, "I spent it in the hairdresser." And he was like, "What do you mean?" So I was just like, "Yeah, he goes, "Don't you make appointments?" And I was like, "Well, I do, but like, black hairdressers don't work on time. Like, they just never work on time." And it was my first lesson also in inclusivity, because my boss was like a white gay man. And he said to me, "Oh, don't worry, I understand." I was like, "Really?" And he said, "When you look at me, you see a white man." He goes, "My dad was a white Jamaican. I grew up around women." He said, "I know that hair you have in your head. I know that's a weave, girl." So the first thing he started doing, he goes, "You work so full on that I want to give you like some time in the week." So he started letting me, every time we had quiet time, he started letting me go to get my hair done on Fridays, so that I wouldn't have to spend the whole hairdressers, or I wouldn't have to spend my whole weekend trying to get a weave done. So that was also, so he made me feel very comfortable in that space. And it kind of evened out the playing field, where I was with people that were from very privileged backgrounds. I would say upper class rather than middle class, upper class guys. So that was my early lessons in media. And then after that, I decided, oh my gosh, I don't want to go back to uni. Like, I'm loving this media life. I was getting very lost in the sauce. But, I went back home and told my mum my plan, and she shut that down. So I had to go back to uni, but I luckily found a placement that was just further down in Kensington. And that's when I started my career in digital marketing. So I did that part-time whilst I was at uni. And for anyone that doesn't know what digital marketing is, it's evolved over the years. But who here uses things such as Facebook? No one? Is Facebook that old? No one uses it anymore. Twitter? Anyone uses Twitter? Instagram? Okay, so that's what they brought me in to do. So then now I started this job as a digital marketing assistant, social media manager. I'd never heard of that job before, but because I was so active online during my placement, like every time, you know what it's like, you bring the American rappers to the UK so that they have to do their promo and they would go missing. And then everyone would be looking for them. And I would be like to my boss, oh, I just saw on Twitter, they tweeted they're here or they're there. And then that's how I became like an asset to the team, because I was the only one that was very early on things such as like Twitter and Facebook. So then what happened is a girl that I met there, she had moved to Universal Music. That's where I moved to. So she was like, there was a job opening there. So then she told me about it. I applied. You know, with these things, like once you get in, it's all about who you know. So from then, then every job I've had is just based on the relationships that you've built. So she told me about the job, I went over part-time, and it enabled me to finish uni and also do that job. And then I had to get made redundant, unfortunately. And when I got made redundant, what they said to me is like, they were keeping some people, and I felt like I was being rejected, like they didn't want to keep me, but they were like, why don't you do this social media thing, but you don't work from the office. You go and work from like a Starbucks or something for us, but we'll just pay you like a lump fee every month. And I was just like, I remember being so upset that they're not taking me with them to their team and they want me to work from a Starbucks. I was like, why can't I work with other people? Like, am I not good enough to work with humans? But essentially what I thought was a big negative thing turned out to be the start of my freelance career. Because I did it, but I did it reluctantly because I didn't have any other work, so I needed the money. I was like, okay, I'll take this, whatever. But what I thought was a rejection at first ended up being what I still do today, and that's work freelance. So you're self-employed. Of course, it took a couple of years to really understand things like, okay, you got to do your own taxes, then you got to pay the tax man separately. All the money you get paid is not for you. You got to keep a bit aside. But those were the early lessons. I felt like it was something that I was forced into, but it was a great thing to do, because the thing with the media industry, like I explained earlier, you get in, there's not much money in it, you're working for free, and then after you've done the work for free for a year, it's like you're scrambling for the jobs. There's like, I would say there's probably like 500 people to 2 jobs. That's what it was like. So then obviously once they have those 2 jobs, they're not going to pay very much, because if you say no or you ask for more money, there's 500 other people just kind of like waiting for this job. And then I realized that, okay, the only way you can actually sustain yourself in this thing is that if I had this one client that's going to pay me a lump sum, a small lump sum every single week, every single month, if I multiply that, then actually I'm going to end up making more than if I took a full-time job. So then I clocked that, and then that's what I started doing. And most of my networking was actually just done at parties. You meet people, they start to know your face, and they ask you, what do? You do that. I remember there was a girl I met at a carnival. I went with my colleagues, we went to carnival, and the girl I met there became one of my, she was working on this book launch, and they became my first client that wasn't a music artist, and it became my biggest client as well. So I also learned that the networking and enabling to kind of like get deals was done through social settings. And when I would explain that to my mom, she's like, why are you always out? Are you a child of the night? And I'm like, no, mom, like this is work. Like, you know, I'm meeting people. This is how we do it. And eventually she was just like, okay, you do your thing. And then she saw that, I got to a stage, I stopped asking her for money. So she's like, oh, you're doing okay? I said, yeah, I'm doing fine, don't worry about it. And then my career evolved from music, I did this book, then I started working with small businesses. I worked in advertising. Advertising was so dry for me. I was working with like, I see a camera, so I'm not going to say it, but I was working with like supermarkets, writing tweets for supermarkets. I was like, oh, take me back to music. I was really suffering. But eventually, you know, God does his thing, and eventually I was headhunted to go to ITV, and they brought me in for 6 weeks to work on a show that's now become massive. At the time, it wasn't as big, but they brought me in to work on a show called Love Island. So I was like, okay, like, this is cool. We did that for 6 weeks, and that's when my career with the broadcasters started. So I started working on reality shows. You know, back then it was actually really exciting, but the older I get, I'm like, oh, you know, these shows I work on, they don't really change lives, you know? They don't change lives, they don't make a difference. But what that enabled me to do again is network. And from there, I moved into, just 4 years ago, it's going to be 4 years next month, I moved into podcasting, which is still a relatively new format in the UK. It's massive in America. It's relatively new in the UK, so you can just imagine the untapped potential it is back home in Zambia and across Africa. The Nigerians, I say, they're killing it when it comes to podcasting. But I moved into podcasting so I moved from ITV, I went over to BBC, where I still work with them today. I freelance for them amongst like other clients. And as I said, as I got on older, you realize how it can change people's perspective. The media is very powerful, right? Half of the things we see is just perception. And I've recently been doing some work with a company where with NATO actually. So as I said, like I've been trying to change what I work with. So I've recently just done a podcast with NATO that's coming out soon. And part of that was about how we can use these skills that we know to tell other stories. And we did some work on disinformation and misinformation. So every time, this job that I once loved in social media, I realized how dangerous it is in terms of like disinformation that is spread, the misinformation, even the things of like what we share in our WhatsApp groups. Like, don't even get me started on the things my mum sends into the WhatsApp. And I have to constantly tell her, Mum, did you fact check that? And she'll be like, no. She'll send random things, even videos from the village. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the one where it was the chicken wearing shoes. I said, Mum, stop it. What are you sharing? But you know, like, it's very dangerous for the older generation. They just share things. Oh, during COVID, she'll believe anything that she was said. We need to do garlic, ginger, this. I was like, Mum, calm down. But you're realizing that this thing is very powerful. And now with podcasting, it gets a bad rep sometimes because anybody can do it. But the good thing is that now we're able to tell different stories and different narratives. And the other challenge I found when working in media is that I was one of very few Zambians. I think it was just me and one other guy that I've met in the media. Like, it was just the two of us. So constantly I'm around all my other friends and they're telling stories from Europe, from America, Eastern Europe, Africa. I have to sometimes remind my friends, like they're always like, okay, let's go Nigeria, let's go Ghana. I'm like, guys, you know I'm Zambian, let's go to Zambia. So my thing right now is about like figuring out how to use this skill to tell stories from the continent and tell stories from Zambia. I came here when I was 2, so it's, even for me, it's a big educational journey. And I just think there's so many Zambians in the media just killing it. Like we had a song that was in Black Panther. We have anchors on BBC. Like it's just really amazing. And I heard someone say they've got money. So, you know, we just need some funding, please. So I'll come and talk to you after. But even we were talking and he mentioned a project that he's working on. And as soon as he said it, I was like, damn, like, let me get involved. Am I allowed to say what it is? Yes. You can say it.
Oh, on that note, I'll say thank you very much. We shall catch up with the questions.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chilufia, the chairperson of Team Zambia UK, which started in 2019, as John has said. It's actually John's vision that brought us together. He would tell us why he chose us. So we started off in 2019 and we just sat down and we said, okay, if we're gonna do this initiative, we're gonna make it youth driven, since a lot of youths don't know each other who are Zambian here. So we thought, let's bring the youth together, which will help build our community. We did 2 trials, one in London, one in Manchester, and I tell you, we were blown by how many youths showed up. We looked at some of them, we were thinking, are you sure you're Zambian? Because we've never seen you before. And that was a success for us. So next thing, we started preparing for the African Cup of Nations UK, and we even had sponsorship from fans who gave us football jerseys to wear during the tournament. And the journey so far has been good. We have been stopped by COVID, but we are restarting again. And I'm going to pass you on to my colleague, Muila.
So following on from what Chilufia said, the vision for Team Zambia is essentially not just to bring youths together to play football, but we also want to serve as a feeder team to the Zambian national team in light of Zambia Kuchalo. So with that, we've been training and we're now preparing for AFCON, which is coming up in June. Last weekend of June, right? So it's the last weekend of June, and what we want to do is bring the community together through the love of football. Some of us grew up during the Madalas era where my late dad used to play football in Burgess Park, South London, every Sunday. And we used to go with our mums, with our siblings, and we all used to link up. It was a community thing. So what we're trying to do now is basically reinvent that with the Zambian community, because since that era, there hasn't been anything like that. And we feel like a lot of young Zambians get lost in the source. They can't find their own people. So if we have one place where we bring the community together through the love of football, then that would be good. And I'll pass on to Wenya now.
So just following on from what my colleagues have said, at Team Zambia, we're all about community spirit, we're all about bringing people together and just general vibes. So alongside the AFCON tournament in 2019, we also did a social, so it was a games night. So we sort of charged, I think it was £5, but there was so much food, drink, because that's what young people like. And we just used it as a place for networking, for other Zambians to get to know each other. And that was a huge success, but fortunately, I think a month later, the pandemic started. And as my colleagues have said, that's really sort of hindered us, but God willing, this year we're coming back stronger, and as they said, the AFCON is back in June on the 24th and 25th. So if any of you are free, please come down. It's going to be in West Ham Memorial Park. It'd be lovely to see you all there. Hopefully it'll be sunny, but obviously we're in London, England, so you never know. But yes, if you are going to come down, please, bring your cooler boxes, bring your packed lunches, if it's your shima, your sandwiches, whatever it is. It'll be lovely to see you there. And the boys are, talented. A lot of them don't really know much about their roots, but having that community, that support, it really sort of pushes them. And by the grace of God, we are going to win this year, right, guys? Yeah. And alongside that, training is commencing next Sunday, the 23rd of April in Southwark Park from 2:30. So please feel free to speak to us after this. We are still looking for young ballers. I mean, class yourself as young, that's fine. But please come through. And alongside that, we're also just asking for support, and this is in any way, shape or form. We really appreciate anything that you can support us with, whether that's advice, whether that's monetary, or just showing up, as we said. And one last thing I just want to say is, as Zambians, I think it's key that we stick together. Let's continue to work together. Let's not bring each other down. We are one Zambia, one nation. And all I just have to say is Zambia Kuchalo.
Thank you, MC Chinode, my brother. We have known each other for a very long time. No wonder the interlink that you've bestowed an award for us. But for me, it's not our success. I see Zimbabwe and Zambia as one country. It's only a river in between. We share the biggest wonder, the Kariba Dam, together. We share the Victoria Falls together. And I think if you go back to the colonial era, there were a lot of intermarriages. So I see ourselves as one people. But again, thank you for the compliments, for complimenting me. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, officials from the embassy, and the organizers of the Zambian Network, Mr. Penza, Joe, and the rest of the other team. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for inviting me to this occasion. As I was seated there listening to Mr. Chowdhury and Pilar, I got so excited because networking is one of my biggest hobbies. As you can see me standing here, I'm a product of very good network. But let me dwell into the reason why I'm here. I was invited here to share a story of encouragement with many of the people from the Zambian community and other communities that are here. I've come here to encourage you. And my word of encouragement is that you as the diaspora, you are important. You as the diaspora, you are distinguished. The Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. So you did not leave Zambia to come here just because it was an opportunity. No, God made it a purpose so that you come here and you make a difference from the education that you are going to get, from the cultural socialization that you are going to get. All these are valuable ingredients that when you put them together and you go to Zambia, this is why you start to complain when you get into the airport that the service is slow here and this is that here, this is that. It is the value of the learning that you have. But my message today is to encourage you to say, yes, it's good to be here, but it's also good to make a difference back home. I think Chino has mentioned a lot about what we do. I'm here wearing two hats. The first hat is of Team Zimbabwe UK, which is one of the other biggest Zimbabwean diaspora organizations. But our organization, unlike many, is not a business organization. It's a social organization. It is the bedrock of the community. We were organizing people, supporting people, their mental health. The diaspora has a lot of challenges. When people are arriving from home, some find it very difficult socially to connect. And we felt befitting that we should form a social organization that engages in community cohesion, bringing people together, celebrating the Zimbabweanness, the independence, our history, and events. And our organization is one of the longest and most successful, far ahead the other business organizations. I'm not saying business is not important. It is important. But for a community to thrive, they also need good social well-being, social economic development. Without social, economic suffers as well. So if you're not motivated, strong, proud, coming out, you cannot conquer the economy. So we integrated the two and it was a success. And I'm proud to be here, that my fellow colleagues has invited me here. And what I want to say before I finish is to leave you with some key words of encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, you are here for a purpose. The diaspora is powerful. You can do wonders. Us in Zimbabwe, through our embassy, we have what are called the diaspora clusters. Our new ambassador in the Second Republic in 2018 came here and reorganized us. The mantra or the theme of our new government, which is the Second Republic, headed by President Emmanuel, was that Zimbabwe is open for business. And the second sentence was engagement and re-engagement. So the country took on its toll to engage its diaspora community first and to engage with all other countries that want to work with us. Prior to this, you know our politics. Our politics was very toxic for some good reasons and some bad reasons as well. But when the new president came, he said, let's burn bridges, let bygones be bygones, let's rebuild relations with all the nations that want to work us, including the British government. So I'm delighted to say, with the embassy, with the diaspora clusters, they were arranged, they mirror the different ministries that we have in Zimbabwe. So we have a mining cluster, we have an agricultural cluster, we have an economy and development cluster. So what the ambassador did, our ambassador, His Excellency, Colonel Retired Katande, organized us as the diaspora from different groups. I know sometimes we struggle as the diaspora because we've got so many different groups and everyone wants to be in charge or want their group to be recognized. But the ambassador said, put your heads aside and just go into where you think your skills are most required. So people chose different clusters. I was lucky with my previous work that I was asked to be one of the cluster coordinators, not manager, a coordinator, a servant. So I volunteered to do that work, and I'm glad that under the clusters with the embassy, we've done a lot of exciting things. I'll just name a few successes that we have had. Firstly, we have an organization, a diaspora organization called Zimbabwe Midwife and Nurses Association. So this organization is formed of NHS professionals, people that have been working here in the NHS in health, midwives and doctors. They've helped to send equipment, hospital equipment that is not required here by the NHS Trust. So we have two key health organizations that have signed MOUs with the NHS, and they've been sending equipment from laptops, from scanning machines, from anything that when a hospital is being downgraded here, they go in and we take that equipment and send it to Zimbabwe. As I speak, we have a hospital in Sanyati, which has been newly refurbished with equipment from here worth 350,000. by the diaspora. We have also another hospital in Matsika, a mental health hospital, which is called Ngomahuru. It was recapitalized by the diaspora. And let me make it clear here that thank you also to the British government, because the equipment was donated by the NHS, but we came together as the diaspora to donate to ship it. I think you all know sending a container is not an easy thing. It needs you guys to come together and make a difference. And sometimes it's easy to stand out as an individual, but life has taught me that it's better to stand out as a group. There's more to gain as a group than as an individual. So the message I leave today is that work together. There is power in togetherness. I believe in shared leadership. This is why I'm a cluster coordinator. I'm not a cluster director. I'm not a cluster one. I just coordinate. And I believe the people I work with, they're actually the managers. I coordinate. And we've had so much success in health, like I've told you now. We have so much success in philanthropy, so many diaspora groups paying school fees for disadvantaged children. In Goromonzi, where I come from myself, which is very close to Harare, every secondary school, primary school, we have 18 schools in that area. I have given them football kits and everything. And again, all sourced from here, and my expense was shipping with friend coming in to help. Whilst we are on football, I want to congratulate the Zambia UK Football Initiative. Well done, guys. It's good to know that you're here. Please, if you're going to clap properly, because I can ask you to clap again. Thank you. I want to thank you guys. There's one interesting thing which I'm going to say before I sit down. I know time is an issue. We, with Team Zimbabwe UK, one of the most successful projects we did was to go around the UK and other European nations and scout for our diaspora football talent. I think you all know, for years, Zimbabwe has been playing second fiddle to Zambia when it comes to football. Even on the day we opened our national sports stadium, we celebrated our independence. You guys came and won our independence trophy in our own stadium. But I'm excited to stand here and say, almost close to 38 years later down the line, I'm glad, 42 years actually, I'm glad and excited to say that in the last 10 years, Zimbabwe is qualified to the Africa Cup of Nations more than Zambia has done. And this is not because Zambia is not good anymore. No, this is because us as Team Zimbabwe UK, we've harnessed our diaspora talent that is in here. And in the last 7 years, we've had at least 7 to 10 professional players playing in the lower English tier, championship, and the Premier League, go and play into our national team. It was a fight to get that. As you know, all the stories about football, people coming from abroad, taking the game away, the opportunities away, who are they? They've never been to the country. But let me tell you, it can be done, and it can be done the right way. We did it pretty much the Chinese way, because we didn't go with the players first. We went out with handouts first in grassroots football, distributing kids football from Team Zimbabwe UK all over the country, schools and everything. So when we brought the players, we then went for a tour with the players in, I think, 2017 also. So we took a group of under 23, sharp, skillful, and we took them. I think almost 80% of them were born here. They'd never seen Zimbabwe in the light, but their parents trusted us with us. We went there and we played 4 friendly games. And those people that had criticized diaspora talent, we shut them out because we never lost a game when we were in Zimbabwe. We only drew 1 game, courtesy, to leave a smile into people's face. Our boys were playing against Zim Premier League teams, and we had to tell them to slow down. They were in top form, and everybody, when I left, they were pulling me to say, get the players now. And it was not a surprise that I got into the plane with the players, and I went for camp with them. And it has been a successful story. For the last 3 Africa Cup of Nations, Zimbabwe has qualified consecutively. Listen, it's not a joke. We took almost 24 years before we qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. It's not a miracle that we don't worry about qualifying nowadays. We're actually worried about winning. But this has all happened as a result of the skills that are here, the work that we have done here. So let me remind all of you here that you have a duty to play. Zambia will be greater again with all of you here, people. I'm telling you this, if you put your skills together, you may say that there are not many Zambians in the UK. But let me tell you, having a smaller community is actually an advantage and effective in making a difference back home. And charity begins at home. So the difference I'm talking to started at home. I was blessed, myself coming here, that the first project I did was to put electricity in my village. That was the first project I did. I could have built a house for my parents, but I felt in spirit that it was important because of the struggles that I've seen in my village, that whatever savings I had for the first time, I had to put electricity in my village. And I can tell you that 15 years later, I had to send the first laptop at the primary school. Again, there is hope in us. Sometimes when you do things, people will slacken again, but you have to encourage people. But I'm glad that in my community, after I've put the electricity, the whole village is almost electrified now. Other families have come up and they're helping to make things happen. So before I end, I just have a small word that I want to leave you. So just bear with me before I finish it, Chino. I know you're looking at me time. Allow me to share with you a Bible verse in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 to 4. I shall read. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourself. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. I read this verse now and then to encourage myself that we are not into competition as diasporans, but we are here to complement each other. We are on a journey to take everything good that we have learned from here. And remember, I've said everything good. There are also bad things that can be learned into the diaspora. But my goal and mission as one of the diaspora community leaders in Zimbabwe is to ensure that everything good that we can get from this country, we take it back to Zimbabwe. Technology, finance, and a lot of other things. I have a lot more stories to share, but let me leave those later for networking. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for taking time to listen.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's your neighbor from Harare, TRIZET Command.
Wow. MC, thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, Deputy High Commissioner, distinguished guests, and obviously fellow speakers. My name is Milton West, as MCJC has said. Yes, I've been with Soul Online Radio for the last, 3 years. Yes. We started broadcasting in, COVID period. I know a lot of people here. One of them is my sister there. Yes, by charity, who supported us throughout the course of the pandemic. So we used to hold parties, we used to hold discussions, we used to basically inform, educate, and obviously entertain. Yes, that was our motto. We worked with DJ Blair there, one of the founders. Yes, proud to say. Yes, so you talked about a project that we're doing. I am part of Soul Online Radio. We are a Zambian-owned radio station. Yes, and what we do is pretty much we want to invite people from the diaspora, basically to advertise with us. So right now we're running a promotion for free. Yes, free. If you've got a business, if you're doing any kind of social value, any kind of, contact us. MCJC, where are the flyers? It's gone. Anyway, I'll give you flyers. Yes, contact us, talk to us. MCJC, can you distribute these flyers? So these flyers have a QR code on there. Scan it, and it will take you to our radio station. I present 2 shows on a Friday and on a Saturday. So I do the 80s and 90s. I also do, And I also produce, MCJC here does a sports show for us. So you talked about being a producer. I also produce because I've been in media for, I think from I was in nappies, because my father used to work for Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation a long time ago. And what he used to do is he would take me to the studio when he's recording a show or it's a live show, and I'll sit there and I'll watch him. I won't say who his name is, but I would sit there and I would watch him. And I got so fascinated from that time, and I was so inspired. I thought, this is the thing that I wanted to do from the get-go. So from that, I got inspired. I started, when I came to England, I've been here for about 23 years or so. I started a radio station with, I don't know how many people remember UK Zambian. It was a Zambian website, and I used to do a show with them. And I used to do shows as well with radio stations in Zambia and stuff like that. But anyway, we are a community-based radio station, and what we want to do is pretty much promote yourselves. We want to promote the Afro-Caribbean. So what we're doing is pretty much a social benefit, is social value. So what I would ask for is, once you get these, if you could distribute these for us, please. People get in touch. What I want to do is produce your shows. If you have adverts, I'll produce them for you, or we'll produce them for you, because we work with a team. Our CEO was meant to be here. He's not, so I'm representing him and stuff like that. What we've done is we've done stuff as well with the Zambian High Commissioner in the past. We've done online stuff. We are also on YouTube. You can look us up, it's online radio. And there's a lot of stuff that we've done. Charity events. We want to support the community because we want to win. Jack Canfield, an American speaker, motivational speaker, writer, spoke about service. That if you want to forward your own values, if you want to go forward in life, you should offer service. And that's what I do. So Online Radio is pretty much made up of volunteers. So not only are we looking for people to advertise, we're also looking for presenters. So if you're able to present, if you're interested in hosting your own show and things like that, join us. I present, I do shows, I produce and stuff like that. But my other background is I work in property. I work in construction. I'm a project manager for a very large company. So that's my other life. So I also do, what we're looking to do is we're looking to improve on the property aspect of like Zambia, because Zambia has so much potential. I think somebody spoke about it. Mr. Chadri spoke about it and things like that. And I'm very, 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 very interested in that side of things. So that's the future. But for now, if you can get in touch with us, I know MCJC, I think we should be winding down because the food is getting ready there. But please, do get in touch with us. QR codes, if you're interested in presenting or you've got a product to sell, we're there for you. We're here to work with everybody. Afro-Caribbean, Zambian, African, pretty much everybody. Even people from the United Kingdom, because we cannot neglect the country that took us in, that brought us up to a certain stage and stuff like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Remember to join us. Yes. So we look forward to welcoming you to Soulline Radio. Thank you. Take care. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was DJ Milton Bessa. He did mention ZNBC. As I said, I was brought up in a gossip family. Let me gossip. His father is Mr. Harold Bessa. Do you remember Harold Bessa on TV? Yes, that's the son, ladies and gentlemen. But again, I don't want somebody maybe going home to say, business, I had a business, they could have allowed me to speak. Anybody who wants to say something about this event, or they've got a product, service, launching a book. Yes, come over here, sir. Hey, come on. Give him a hand of applause. That's the confidence.
And I'm also called Mr. Swenga in Zambia because I came up with a concept to produce very good food. So basically, here I have brought some sausages over there, and people are about to having fun. Look back there. Yeah. So you're welcome to come and taste the products. So the most important thing is I did hear some speeches here talking about Zambia being open for business. I've been in Zambia since 2018, and I built a business. I started processing food. I just did the proof of concept of everything. That's why I brought the sausages over here. And I've just been posting in the groups. And just in case some people don't know, there's this website called swengafood.com. And this is where you can order those sausages, and they are delivered 24 hours to 48 hours frozen to your door. So you don't have to drive to any different place to get the sausages. And I'm also an accountant. I've got a company called Simply Accounts, and I'm sure somebody here who hasn't met me was talking there. I'm her accountant for quite a long time. Now I'm really excited. I was just waiting to see you, Kayla, but I'm really chuffed. But that's it. I just haven't got any more to say.
A place in Zambia called Manuka, and this is a holiday home that we have built. I really wanted to talk about just how we did it. We decided we want to go back to Zambia, so we decided we are going to build in Zambia, but we are not in Zambia. And I think the thing that we have learned from that is that we need to build trust. So I tried to engage all the project managers, I tried to engage, and it just became too expensive. And eventually I micromanaged my project, dealing with the bricklayers directly, dealing with all these suppliers, people I found on Facebook. So all I just wanted to say is there is hope. There are people in Zambia that can be trusted, if you can be trusted to pay them as well at the end of the day. So I have built this place, very nice place. We decided we're not going to cut any trees. Look us up on Facebook or Airbnb. We are called Manuka Zambiana. You can book the place on Airbnb. It's in Lusaka West. We've at the moment got 6 rooms, all self-contained. And if you go to Lusaka and you need a place to stay, please look us up, Manuka Zambiana. Thank you.
Thank you. Go on. I am a property investor here in the UK, and I specialize in HMOs and service accommodation and short-term rentals. So I work with people who have properties, and I help you find your niche market on who you want to stay in your properties. What I found last year in Zambia, went there twice, was people are building properties, but they don't know who to identify or who they want in their homes and how to keep those beautiful properties without voids, basically, whereby you're always getting money in. Now an author, published author on Amazon. There's 60 of us. We've got 2 books. One is called Hospitable Host, and this is 40, I'll say Airbnb operators around the world, from the States all the way to Australia. We put a book together to encourage people and show people how you can actually make your properties work for you. And then the second book was called, what is it called now? Reputation Driven, and that is all of the helping management and manage your properties. So right now, this year, I'll be going back to Zambia in November, and I'm going to set up a couple of seminars and workshop groups just to help you put your properties in, basically to put your properties in such a way where you've got compliance and also decoration, and also find the niche market that you have.
I'm Dr. John Lukomana. Many of you know me from my book, Every Zambian is a Millionaire. You believe that?
Yes.
Oh, you look very nice. I came in this country in 1992 with a vision to set up a college, and I achieved it. And I've got also an online university called Lukomana John University, right in this country. My teaching and my target group is those people who never passed HGCSE, never passed grade 12, but I believe they are intelligent. Why? Because I know that education is just legalizing what you already know so that people can use your services. So this university is open, and there's what we call professional GCSEs. If you've ever failed any of these ones, it doesn't mean you're down. In fact, you're very bright. You have a place in our university. And I run an organization called Amakaya Wing with a great number of many people. Somebody say Amakaya Wing. Can you say Amakaya Wing, sir? Try it. This simply means power of many people coming together with a view to do business. And our first mantra in the year 2005 was, be an investor and buy back Zambia. How do you do that? It's simple and straightforward. Many of you have a debt, and that debt is not going away in the UK, I know that. But if you put your resources together on the table, you raise good enough capital to launch a business and form your own corporation. That's what Amakaving is all about. And we achieve this through different meetings, which is annual meetings. We call them Celebrating Business Connectivity and Success. And I'd like to introduce to you once again, this year it's happening from the 13th of June to 17th of June. This Enterprise Week, we bring people from all walks of lives in the UK and abroad, in particular Africa. And this year we're privileged to have the Minister of Energy as a guest of honor. The keynote speaker is coming right here in this country. And on the 16th of January, June is going to be here. I'm inviting you to come and listen. And some of the biggest things that we are doing in Amakaya Wing is this. We are actually connecting investors from Europe into Africa and project owners in Africa into Europe. And they meet together and kickstart bigger projects. The next 5 years, we've got a backup for solar energy and water. So if you've got water project, we are here for you. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Chungwe, and professionally, I'm a lecturer. But I'm here, standing here just to introduce to you a group of women that runs Women Empowerment here in the UK. And I can tell you that we are 48 of us. This group started as 5 women, but today we are 48. And when we started this group, when we started this group, it was just to introduce a way of empowering us women. And we've achieved it. We've had this group running for 9 years. What we started doing was to make sure that every member of the group had land bought. And as they bought the land, we helped them. We helped them build. Every person, the 48 of us, has a house in Zambia. And because I don't have time to explain how this is done, but I can also tell you that we have also obtained 2 apartments in Dubai. So we are working at trying to help women. Even those, some of you, I haven't seen most of you, I'm seeing you for the first time, but I can tell you that this works. Come together, put ideas together. As most of them have said here, you can only push yourselves up when you come as a group and work together.
So, thank you very much. Yes, gentlemen. Thank you very much. You're looking a bit shy, and then the listeners had to say, come on, go for it. You know, they say behind every successful man, there's a what? Behind every successful man, there's a woman. Behind every unsuccessful man, there's 4 women.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for that introduction. I'm coming here today because Penza actually is my new manager in music. And I recently came back from Lusaka about 3 weeks ago. I featured with J Rocks, Rough Kid, amongst many others in the younger area of music as well, the upcoming talent. And I kind of went there originally just to work with Jay, but it ended up, thanks to my friend Alice, getting an interview with the ZNBC to actually promote the idea of collaboration over competition. If we work as a collective in music, rather than just thinking about our own personal interest, then that's always gonna, I think, win and bring us to the place we want to be at a faster pace. So yeah, I wasn't prepared for a speech. I've got to work on that kind of dialogue. But yeah, big up, thank you.
My name is Natasha. Similar to Milton, I've got a background in property. I spent over 20 years in residential sales in London. I'm a mortgage broker and also a personal protection advisor as well. Quick backstory: my dad passed away from COVID in 2021, 4 days after my daughter was born. And with the chaos and how quickly things happened with COVID, there was no will, there was no life insurance in place, and it was chaos, trying to find money for morticians, trying to find money for burial. It was hectic. And speaking to people with a newborn, understanding that our community sometimes shies away from the reality of death. We think that if we talk about it, we're wishing it on ourselves, when it's completely the opposite. A lot of us believe in God, and we know that it says that we have an appointed time, but it's what are we doing about creating generational wealth, putting our house in order, not giving our children debt, and making sure that we've given them a legacy that we've built on as well. So I've become a protection advisor, helping families to be able to secure their family's future. So if you want to have a conversation about putting something in place for your children or for yourself, even for your health whilst you're here, please come and find me. I do have my business cards. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
My name is Nomsa Wimby, also known as the Candy Cross Queen on Instagram. I wanted to come up here because it's such an amazing opportunity. I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to talk about some of the few things that I'm planning because I want to get to know a few people who could perhaps help me with my endeavors. So one of them is I run a social enterprise called Just Between Us Girls. This was co-founded with my best friend. She's the current Miss Uganda UK. That's not true, that's 2018-19. But we started this initiative because we wanted to support charities on ground in Uganda to do empowering work with young women. However, I'm not Ugandan, I am Zambian. And I want to expand that into Zambia to see what efforts we can make in collaboration with good charities who are working with young women, working with young children, and issues that are important to them. On top of that, I also bought land in Zambia last year, so really happy about that, thank you. Really happy about that, can't wait to develop it. What else am I doing? I'm running a podcast. It's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek topic, it's a sex podcast. However, it's called The Gather It All, and the reason why I want to talk about it is because it's really important that we educate ourselves when it comes down to sex. And there are so many issues within our communities back at home, and I'm really passionate about collaborating, hopefully with some really cool people, and seeing what we can do with that in Zambia. And I think for now, that's all I'll say. If you want to know more, come and find me.
Thank you. Let's have our last contributor here. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I know that the English speakers of Africa are here, but we are the French speakers, and I'm here to really support and help my friend, sister in Christ, Laure. She is director and founder of La Belle Case. So in French, in English, it's the beautiful hut. So please give her a bit of support, go and visit her, talk to her, and see what she does. And she's also a fantastic optician, so go and talk to her. She's fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I just need to let you know that there's some merchandise there being sold by Zambian Network. Get yourself a t-shirt.
Is this real or is this just for sure? Yeah. You find it hard to just let it flow. Sometimes you just mess with your mind, but you give it like your car's forever. But then you're still wasting my time when you deny my feelings getting stronger. I want you to stay for once, but I'm not ready to be honest. Broken to my heart with a warning. hear your call. For your love, I'll fall. Hold me through the night till the morning. Just let me listen, you keep talking. Try to walk away, but I'm locked in. I hear your call. For your love, I'll fall. I no longer faded, so I see it for what it is. Inhibitions got me subconscious of decisions, cause you're still in my vision. Oh boy, you mess with my mind. You give me life, you're my respirator. But they are still wasting my time. When you deny, my feelings get stronger. And I want you to say for this, but I'm not ready to be all in. Broken to my heart with no one in. I hear your call. For your love, I fall. Hold me through the night. Oh, just let me listen. You keep talking. I try to walk away. Yeah. Ooh, I hear your call. For your love, I fall. For your love, I fall. Ooh. For your love, I fall. No inhibitions, no more inhibitions, no more inhibitions, no more inhibitions, no more inhibitions. I want you to stay, oh, but I'm not ready to be yours then. You broke into my heart, oh, I hear you call. For your love, I'll fall through the night. Let me listen, you keep talking. I try to walk away. I hear your call. For your love, I'll fall. Oh, inhibition.
Thank you so much. Sorry. I really appreciate singing at this platform because I don't know. I feel like the arts industry in Zambia is like really like not that prominent, and I feel like a lot of young people feel like they can't really do it. My dad is, my mum and dad are both Zambian, and they really encouraged me from very young to like say push what I was doing, and I'm really fortunate for that. So I'm just trying to push for the Zambian community. I don't know many artists myself. I've just started recently communicating with a lot of artists in Zambia, and yeah, Zambians are such cool people, and we're really supportive of each other. So I'm really grateful to be here, listen to you guys, and hopefully I can connect with some of you. But yeah.